Good morning, ladies. Hopefully this video this week will be better than the one I did last week. That was absolutely atrocious. A lot of guesswork on your part, and well done for that. Right, here we go. This is on the same lines as last week's card, but slightly different. So I've used stamping on this card. I haven't on the next card, as you will see. Inside, I would say it's like a shutter card in the inside, but don't get put off by all this folds and cuts, because it's not difficult, okay? As I say, I've used navy as my base card and rose gold glitter card, but the one I'm going to be able to do is done on in place of the rose gold is thick paper. Okay, and as I say, I've used stamping on this one, but I haven't on the next one, just to give you a variation. Right, so you will initially need 2 sheets of A4 card as your base card, and if you have 12 by 12 sheet of thick paper or thin card, that's fine. If you don't panic. I will show you how to make a piece 12 by 6. So initially I'm using green pearl, and I've cut this down 10 by 6, and you will score that in half to make a 6 by 5 card. So that's your base card. Then you will need a piece 12 by 6. If you don't have 12 by 12 thick card or paper, if you cut a piece 6 by 6 and 6 by 6.5 and score it at 1/2 inch and join the 2 pieces together, that will give you a 12 by 6 piece of, as I say, thick paper or thin card. And if you try to keep the pattern quite small, or do it plain, if you want to do it plain, by all means do it plain. If you have it too much of a pattern like this one, that would be quite hard to piece together. So that's how to do your 12 by 6. Then you will need a piece, your base card, and that is 8 by 4. And this is for the front of your card, and I've used gold mirri, and that is 5.5 by 4.5, and a piece of your patterned paper, and that's 5.25 by 4.25, and that's for matting and layering for the front of your card. You will also need, I've dropped a piece, lost a piece. Oh, it's on the floor. There we go. You will need 4 pieces of the gold mirri, and that is 2 7/8 by 1 7/8. Your base card, you will need 4 pieces, 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. And your patterned paper, 4 pieces, 2.5 by 1.5. And that's all to fit on there. The 3 pieces will fit together. Okay. Now, as I said, your first piece, and I'm using the smaller scoreboard this week, because I think that's where I went wrong last week. And we're going to score that at 5. I knocked into my tripod last week, so I think that's where I went wrong. I didn't position it back right. and that gives me a 5x6 base card. Then my piece of 12x6, I will score that, and I'm going to turn it around and do it on the back. I will score that at 2, 4, 6, 8, and because I'm using my small scoreboard, I'll turn it round and do it at 2 inches again. So that would be 10. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. But as I say, I'm using my smaller scoreboard and it only goes up to 8 inches and an eighth. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it portrait, and I'm going to score it at 1.5 inches from your first 2-inch line. And right down to my last line. Turn it round and do exactly the same again. I could have done it at 1.5 inches when I think about it. Silly idiot. Right. Now, if I fold that in half and score it, and then just use my big scissors. You can use your cutting board, not your cutting board, craft knife if you want, but just cut up on the outside line of, make sure that your card is still together, and right up to that line. So there you go, and then cut that piece completely out, and I'm cutting the embossed line basically off. Okay, so that is the inside of your card. Now we've got a valley fold, and then we will have a mountain fold. So you fold it back on itself and then fold it back. Just make sure, and then do the same again with this side. Just make sure that you've got all your edges are straight. When you put that together, everything should be straight. Okay, and that's the outline of your card. Now, if you put it back on your board, should have done this before I did all my folds, but never mind. Now I'm going to score, I'm at 3 inches, and I'm just going to score, no, I'll tell you what, it's actually easier if you do it with your ruler. So if I stick that, so I'm going to have my ruler at, if I bring it down so I know where I'm going, so I want it at the 3, and I'm sticking my ruler right to the top so that I know that it's going to be straight, and I'm starting my paper at 1, okay, and I'm making sure that's butted up. So I've got it at 3 and I want it 1/2 inch. So if I just get my pencil and mark 1/2 inch up and down, I do the same at 5. So 1/2 inch. and 7. Half an inch and half an inch. And if I turn it round, I'll do it at 3 again. So half an inch. Should have made sure that's right on the 1. Half an inch up. So in the centre of your folds, you should have a score line, or a pencil mark, half an inch. And I just get my scissors and cut up that pencil mark. All the way around. Well, I kind of went squint on that bit when I've been cutting it. So let's make that straight. And there we go. So that's the inside of your card. And what we will do, take my scrapboard out just a minute. That will get glued inside your card, and it's just these edges that you glue. As I say, you can use double-sided tape if you want. You know me, I prefer wet glue. And that goes in there like that. And just make sure your edges meet. And again, just make sure your edges meet. And they are meet. And that is the inside of your card. And it will sit like that. Okay? So just leave that to dry. Now this piece is your 8x4 piece. And you're going to score that, put that on your board. And you're going to score that at 2, 4 and 6. So 2, 4 and 6. And just crease and burnish your lines. And there you go. Now, you're going to decorate this before you put it in your card. And remember, you're going to lose half an inch from here and half an inch from here. So these pieces have to sit inside the centre. So you're half an inch and half an inch. Okay? So I've used my Noel die, and as you can see, I've cut it out in gold. So I've got And I'll just put this together now. And you should just see a small edge around your gold mirror. And my glue's, this one's getting near done, so it's quite tacky now. There we go. And put that one on. And then just, these go on flat. I've kept all the layers quite flat because you want it to close, and if you had any of the layers sitting up the way with any bit of height, it wouldn't close properly, and that just gets put on to your card flat. And as I said, you've just got to try and keep it 1/2 inch at the top, 1/2 inch at the bottom. That's the worst thing about the tacky glue, when it starts running out. Now, I want to try and keep these straight, so if I turn it to the side, I can see. As I say, I did it with stamping on my first one. But this one, we've all got this die, and I know we've done a card earlier on using this die, but it wasn't the same as this. And there we go. So that's my Noel. And these just slot in. Now I find it easier to put these two in and try and slot it in right in the centre. And again, make sure it's right in. Turn it round. Slot it in. And that's as easy as that. Now, when you close this, that should settle. Just make sure, and it should actually work its way right into the centre itself, because you've closed it. And there we go. Just play about with it till you get it right. So there shouldn't be any bits sticking out at the side, so you know that you've got it right in the centre if there's no bits sticking out. And that's your card. Now the front, I've slightly cheated. If I can find them. I don't know what I did with them. I found a topper. This is a Hunky Dory one and a Merry Christmas. So I slightly cheated. So I'm going to make sure I've got my glues working, because it's going on to Merry. So I've got to make sure I get plenty glue on. As I say, this is just about finished, this glue. And it annoys the heck out of me when it's like this. But I'm too much of a skinflint to open a new one until this one's finished. Not really. So that's going to go on there. Just make sure it's... And then that's going to go flat on your card. See what I mean about annoying? Very annoying. And that's going to go on your card, front of your card. And then I'm going to put this on with foam tape. As I say, you can use stamps, you can decorate it any way you want, but I've given you two different ideas. And that's going to go on, and then I just want to put foam pads, thin little pads at the bottom, and I'm going to put this flat onto my topper. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on there. And there we go. And that's the front of my card. And that's the inside of my card. So, happy crafting this week. I can't wait to see all your makes. Okay, bye.